Great, you may need to hit your screen. Um, Welcome, so glad to see you all. Um, Whew, anything going on physically that you have? Anyone want to confess, request, um, anything? Oh, I didn't hit the mute button, so maybe I should do that. I think you can always unmute yourself. And just do it. If you have a question, if you need a variation, if you're not quite sure where you're supposed to feel it, um, yeah, feel very supported by everyone you're practicing with, that we're all um, wishing for the best for each other. Let's go ahead and start in heart bench, um, which is such a great way to just open up your body, connect with your breath, and arrive in the present moment. So for this heart bench, one block is on the narrow size or side, and you lie back on that. The lower edge of this block is no lower than where your ribs meet your spine. And then the base of the skull is supported by the other block. And if it feels okay in your body to bring the soles of your feet to touch, go ahead and do that. So yeah, coming into heart bench, maybe the soles of the feet touch, allowing the knees to drift out to the sides, and just simply inhale, receive the breath deeply here. Ah. Hi, Mary. I'm so happy you're with us too. Welcome. Good, nice to see you. Yeah, if it doesn't feel so good to bring the soles of your feet to touch and let your knees drift out, then you don't have to do that. You could instead bring your feet to the floor, widen your feet as wide as your mat, and let the knees drift in towards each other. Ah. So Katerina, who used to be clicking in from Boise, Idaho, getting up a little ahead of all of us, is now down in Florida. Very different environment, I can see. I hope it's going well. Moving into an area that was hit hard by the hurricane. Yeah. Whew. Last week, my post on the platforms was just about the depth and reality of suffering. I just commend all of you guys for clicking in. Sometimes I really feel like a Debbie Downer. And I just really appreciate all of your willingness to confront the truth of life. The truth is devastating and painful, and it's also miraculous and astonishing. And maybe the further we are able to go in one direction, how to say it, the more we can appreciate the other. Like I think about a trampoline. In order to go really high, you have to bounce low. You have to be able to go down in order to go up. And I think of like a heartbeat chart, cardiogram, or whatever that's called. And a heartbeat chart has peaks and valleys, and we know what a flat line is. And so maybe that's what we're doing here. We're learning to become fluent in the full spectrum of what it means to be alive. Slowly opening ourselves to really feel. Maybe it's true to say that we know our lives by feeling them, by feeling it. Ah, ah. And it's interesting. I certainly don't mean to inspire any complacency. Um, this isn't about giving up. Hmm. But maybe it's an education in how to effectively, skillfully invest our energetic reserves. Hopefully, we'll all learn to stop wasting our precious life, our life force energy, our vitality, trying to change things we cannot change. Ah, and instead, focus our attention on certainly appreciating what is, and then skillfully engaging the things that we have some ability to influence. Oh, so just a few more breaths here. Hmm. Inhale, receive the breath deeply. Ah, exhale, sigh. So very with a quality of precision, exit this shape. So elbows down, palms down, chin in, come back up to sitting. Feet on the ground, if that works, or feet legs long. Eyes closed if that helps you really feel. It has been determined recently that our fascia has more nerve endings than even like your eyeballs. So they're calling fascia now an organ of perception. And maybe when we, yeah, close the eyes and just wake up to sensation, maybe we are connecting with that level of being. If you'd like to fold forward, I like holding on to wrists or elbows, forearms, and just rocking back. Let the chin tuck. You might feel like a little bit of traction, let's say, some traction in your lower back. Maybe you rock your head a little bit from side to side. And let's go ahead and come up to sitting, and let's come to sit. Sit on something, sit on blankets, blocks, meditation cushions, bolsters. Close your eyes and let's turn the palms down. And take and enjoy a few breaths here with the palms down and just feel if there's some resonance or some vibration. Go ahead and flip the palms up and notice that shift. A few breaths here. And then choose, palms up or down. Choose by feeling, not by thinking. And again, maybe this is a skill we learn, especially in Yin Yoga, in all yoga for sure, even meditation perhaps, but this skill of checking in with options and then making a decision based on what feels right. Utilizing your practice to help you connect or reconnect or fortify the connection with your own intuition. Ah, feel how it feels to be here. Feeling how it feels to be you, which is truly something no one else will ever really know. Tuning into the immediacy of your experience revealed to you through the senses in your body. Recognizing that in this moment right now, as in every other moment, you are both expressing the present moment as well as experiencing the present moment. You're part of it, you're happening with it, and you know it through your senses. Let's go ahead and bring your hands into prayer and lift your heart and bow your head. Maybe in this practice, you can open up to everything you sense. Open up to all of your feelings, whether they are physical or energetic, mental, emotional, embodied, visceral, intuitive. Utilizing your practice to plug back in and connect with what you know, what you feel in your bones. If you have a question in your life you've been grappling with, maybe you ask it now and then live your way into the answer. Or even ask, what is it I need? If you'd like to join me in chanting the sound of Om just one time, please do. It can be audible, it could be silent. Let's inhale together. Release your hands down. If you like, one hand is on the belly. Exaggerate the movement of breath. Inhale, the belly swells forward. Exhale, draw the belly back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. So we'll practice Kapalabhati, but not if you're pregnant, not if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure, not if you have tachycardia, hiatal hernia, some other condition I don't know about. If you just don't like Kapalabhati, I definitely say do it anyway. Let's inhale, feel the belly swell. Exhale, drift the belly back. Inhale halfway. Begin pumping the diaphragm. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, soften the tongue. Keep breathing like that. Flipping our awareness of breath, instead of focusing on inhale with exhale just happening, you do the opposite. Really focus on the exhale as an invitation to release, to let go of, to excavate. Release whatever's been taking up space. Whatever has outworn its welcome. Whatever is just like baggage. Believe it's possible. Start to slow it down. And exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, expand in all directions. Exhale, let that breath go. Let the hand release. Close your eyes or keep them closed and feel. Let's go ahead and open the eyes. And I'm going to say, let's bring the soles of the feet together. And let's allow for some distance between the heels and the pelvic floor. Anne-Marie, I'm realizing that when you told me that you likely have a herniated disc, I was a little distracted and I didn't get to ask, do you know which direction it might be moving? Is that something you want to share? And you can say, no, thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. I know you're not.
Yes, I'm feeling okay. So if something starts to hurt, I just won't do it or I'll back off. But it's my right side down into my hip.
Okay. All right, let's do this. I'm going to try 2 different poses. And so we'll first bring the soles of the feet together. Let's have the heels in pretty close. Maybe you sit up on a blanket or some blocks feel awkward to me, so I wouldn't sit on blocks, but blankets or bolsters are fine. You can use blocks if you like. Heels in close. Hopefully that helps you feel the inner thighs. We'll drop the chin and round forward. Maybe your elbows rest on blocks, maybe your forehead does, or maybe you just let the whole spine round and drop in and connect with, hopefully you do feel this in your inner thighs. Oh. I was once diagnosed with 3 bulging discs in my cervical spine. And I'm very pleased to say that I was able to adequately, through physical therapy and movement and curiosity and belief, able to avoid any kind of surgery. I love the possibility that what we do with all yoga, maybe we could even say all movement, and then specifically exponentially with Yin Yoga, is as we sink into one shape or into a shape, one side of the body is closing and the other side of the body is opening. So from a joint perspective, you could imagine that the side of the body that's opening, that maybe we are creating space inside of that joint or that joint capsule. And then if we're skillful and we move in all of the directions, that maybe we create the conditions for the body, which is alive, which is continuously responding to stimuli, can negotiate its way back to well-being. Maybe if there's an understanding that the disc is, bulging or herniating to one side, we would lean to the opposite side first to create some space, and then go around, and then eventually maybe go toward the side that might feel like there's restriction, with the belief that perhaps the disc has already been able to shift its way back. It's very interesting. They say that when you wake up in the morning, you're taller than you are when you go to bed at night. And that's because when you're lying down, the discs in your spine are said to imbibe. They drink in the fluid. I have to say, I don't know if it's the cerebrospinal fluid, if it's blood flow. We know we are 60, 70% fluid. And so the discs, like they imbibe, they plump up. So when you arise in the morning, you're taller, and then through pounds of pressure, atmospheric pounds of pressure, by the end of the day, you're shorter. I just love the possibility that we can, the whole spine is wrapped in fascia, designed to keep the body in place. And so I believe there is the possibility that we can create the conditions for the body to move back toward, it will never go back to how it was before the injury, but something called maximum medical improvement. I think I'm talking too much. Let's inhale here. And then exhale. Go ahead and use your hands and lift your torso up. So now let's move the feet more forward. When we do this, it makes it more flexion in the spine, less opening in the inner thighs. Sit up, tuck your chin, and round again. Wow. Just as a snapshot is how you looked for one moment in your life. Some of this imaging is the same, and it's true for the moment, and there is good information in it. And that can point in a direction and move toward the right therapeutic approach. But wait, what may be, in my humble opinion, I hope it's a humble opinion, rather than concerning whether or not the disc is herniated, for example, and Anne-Marie, I hope I'm not belaboring this point. I don't mean to. I hope it doesn't feel too invasive. Let's just use the practice to treat the symptoms, whatever the symptoms are. The symptoms of back pain, the symptoms of outer hip pain, the symptoms of heartache, the symptoms of grief and loss, anguish, rage. Let's use the practice to dive into the reality of life. Take a straight dose. So check in with the reality of of your life, where you are, your relationships, the demands others are placing upon you, your willingness to rise to those demands. Boundaries you may have to create in order to say no. The fallout. Just a few more breaths here. Let's inhale together. Exhale together. So walk your hands in and sit up. If it's okay in your body, bring your legs out to a wide angle. You might still be sitting up on your height. If your knees are elevated, or if you just have an extra blanket, you could roll up a blanket like a noodle and just slide it underneath your knees. Tuck in your chin and roll forward again. So this little sequence, we did some inner thigh in that butterfly with the heels closed, and then some primarily flexion with the heels a little further. Now the legs out, we'll get more inner thigh once again. And you'll see what's next. So go ahead and tuck in your chin. Round yourself forward. Wow. It's really beautiful that we have the balance or the harmony of yin and yang. In our yang pursuits, 100% encourage you. You feel encouraged, you feel supported, you feel motivated to change everything you know you believe needs to change. You work hard to accomplish your goals. You contribute in powerful and significant ways to the lives of those you care about, maybe the world. And so yang has the energy of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and persevering, and there's such valiant courage in that. I love it. I love pursuing goals. I love being challenged. I love all of that. And then yin is an opportunity to simply sit with the reality of what already is. Sitting here might motivate you in your yang pursuits, weeding out the noise, weeding out confusion. Wow. Bringing clarity. Oh. And just a few more breaths here. Inhale, receive the breath deeply. Exhale, walk your hands back in and sit up. Whew. Let's go ahead and, you know what, let's just bend the left knee and either bring the left foot, I would come off of a support, you can decide or not. Bring the left foot to the inside of the right leg to fold over the right leg, or if it works in your body, flex the knee, internally rotate, and then abduct the thigh. You can turn toward the leg to fold forward. And at any point, you could make it more of a lateral stretch, more of a side stretch. And maybe get curious about the different ways that you invite the vertebrae of the spine to move, with this possibility of creating more space in the joint capsule. If you do make it more of a lateral stretch, the left arm can be overhead, or you could tuck it behind you. Oh. Krishnamurti was a great philosopher, a great thinker, raised within the Theosophists community, sort of raised to be a spiritual leader, a role which he came to shun. He came to the conclusion that if he became their leader, they would just listen to what he said and they would all go to sleep. They would all abdicate their responsibility for their own choices, their own lives, and they would, that's how he perceived it. They would make him responsible. And he was interested more in getting each of them to wake up to the truth. One of the statements I heard him say a lot is that seeing is the only true action. That when you don't really see clearly, you keep adding to the confusion, you keep contributing to the same problem. They say you can't use the same level of thinking that caused the problem to solve the problem. So he would say that when you really see, when you truly see, the obvious action is revealed. It's so obvious, it's not a choice, it's just the truth, it's just what you see. And so maybe there's an element to that coming to Yin Yoga, in which you just see. The just meaning to simplify, not to minimize. If you haven't yet made it a side stretch and you'd like to, you could do that. Rotate your torso to the right a little bit. And let your left ear fall toward the shoulder. Get curious about how you might hold your head, tuck your chin in order to begin to lengthen some tight or short neck muscle. For what's here to be known, without an opinion about it, without a demand, without a judgment, without a preference. Ah. Let's inhale, receive the breath deeply. Exhale, sigh. Walk your hands in, lift your torso up, pause. And just drop. Simply drop, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. So keep your right knee bent to lift the knee up. If it's behind you, keep it bent to bring the foot to the ground. Then the right leg goes long, the left knee bends. Did I say that correctly? No, the left leg goes long, the right knee bends. Maybe the right foot comes to the inside of the left thigh, or maybe internal rotation and abduction, allowing you to lengthen yourself over. Now it is the left leg. It might be a side stretch, a lateral stretch right away. I almost hesitate to share this. A good friend of mine, we had traveled through quite a journey together, a yoga journey, a friendship over many years, maybe a decade. And she came and took a class back in the old days when I still had the studio. Whatever I was saying in yoga class, after class, we went for a walk along the river. And she said, I was sitting in class and she was like, damn it, I have to leave my husband. Oh. And so sometimes we just drop in and the truth is revealed. And then you just see how all of the ways you were trying to make it okay, whatever it is, staying in the job, staying in the community, staying with some ideology or group. The ways that we identify ourselves can be really difficult to see it as a construct and to begin to separate who we really are from that concept. Oh. Notice if you're holding on to anything, like tension, like breath. Like a belief. if you haven't yet and want to, make it a lateral stretch. Turn your torso to the right a little bit. Maybe the right arm is overhead. Maybe the arm tucks around behind you. Oh. Ah. How long can you exhale? One more breath here. Slide your hands under your armpits. Use the arm strength to lift you up. Stop, drop, and feel. Open through all of your organs of perception, including perhaps the fascia. And then keep this right knee bent. So bring the foot to the ground and lengthen the leg. Let's shift onto hands and knees. So I'd love for you to come into sleeping swan if that works for you. Make sure this is targeting your right outer hip, so slide the right knee forward. Make sure you're not getting into the knee. And then lengthen the left leg long, maybe walk the left foot a little bit toward the center line of the mat, so the heel extends from the sitting bone. You can fold forward or maybe even migrate your torso. For me, it would be over to the left. Like if I walk in that direction, I start to feel something pretty interesting in my outer hip. One thing that might be considered positive about this hip opener is there is at least, I don't know if it's genuine extension of the back thigh, the hip flexor, or if it's more neutral rotation, but some people might feel some opening there. And if anyone wants to increase that opening, maybe you slide a rectangular shaped blanket under that left, say, shin, which would create a little extra sort of elevation that maybe the left hip flexor can open into. And the reason I'm offering this, of course, if this is not the best hip opener for you, come into a different one. But one thing that might be good about this hip opener is that it's got a little bit of an asymmetric quality, like what it's doing in the two sides of the hips. My primary Yin Yoga teacher, Paul Greeley, really likes asymmetrical poses for the ability they have to let the body open to whatever degree it can on each side of the body, rather than always going for symmetry. Maybe your yang pursuits are where you engage symmetry or work on lessening imbalances. Yin yoga may be more concerned with maintaining whatever mobility you do have in all of the places you have it. Ah, oh. Hmm. You don't have to remain rigid or stuck, stiff in the poses. You are welcome to shift a little bit, explore conscious, conscientious shifts in how you position the body to see if they help you target places you hadn't reached before. Not in a fidgety sort of way. Hmm. Hmm. Relax your jaw and soften your tongue and wake up to any hint of flavor or taste that might still be lingering in your mouth. Notice how there is an experience of some flavor, some echo, some taste that is separate from the label you give it and the opinion you have about it. It exists pre-label, pre-opinion. Inhale here. Exhale. So go ahead and walk your hands under your armpits. Lift your torso, slide back. If you'd love to stretch the heel back and kind of wiggle your hips, go ahead and do that. And whenever you're ready, slide the left knee forward. Extend the right leg long behind you. Line the heel up with the sitting bone. Walk your hands forward. Position yourself so you do feel it in the left outer hip, and so you don't feel it in the knee. Yeah, good. Ah. Hmm. Hmm. You can do that with your ears too, or with the sense, the organ, the sensory perception of listening. Ah. A meditation teacher used to always use the language. He probably still does. I just haven't heard him say it lately, but he would say that there is something occurring with or without your permission, with or without your even acknowledging it. There's something occurring pre-label. Maybe discovering that is wakefulness. Maybe our clear seeing that we cultivate is the access point or the portal. Ah. Hmm. Down to the last 2 breaths in this pose. What is here to be known? As you're ready, walk your hands under your armpits, lift your torso. Whew. If you can shift back to hands and knees, lengthen the left leg, whatever feels good. Some hip wiggle or swivel, maybe a downward dog. Let your head be heavy. Hmm. Hmm. And then let's go ahead and come forward and lie on the belly. Hmm. You may like having your 2 blocks with you. So we'll practice seal or sphinx pose. So maybe your elbows are simply on the ground. Relax the buttocks, let the pubic bone feel weighted and heavy. If you want to instead practice resting your elbows on the blocks, that will elevate. You can do this over time. You can spend a little time on one level and then increase. You can bring your hands in front of you and lengthen your arms. Good, gorgeous. Ah. I'm about to send out my mass email. I'm going to send one today, and then I'll send one Friday too. I think I haven't sent one since the first week of September, so um, I just derailed. I'm not sure why I decided to tell you that. Hmm. If you don't get my emails and want to, make sure you put your email address in the chat bar before we conclude. Relax your jaw, soften your tongue, keep opening up to what is here. I'm frequently intrigued by the statement or the realization that the moment that one quote unquote achieves enlightenment, or the moment that one realizes the ultimate truth or becomes awakened or becomes enlightened, however you understand that possible quest, that the moment that it happens, you are in the same place that you were when you were confused, when you weren't awake. And so this wakefulness doesn't require a trip to the top of Mount Everest. It doesn't require a pilgrimage to Rishikesh, or it's right here. The fodder of our lives, our everyday lives, the experience. So we may be seeking something, and all of our efforts that take us away from what we feel and know right now may be making us speed past the very thing that would fulfill the very thing that we are seeking. And so if that intrigues you too, throughout the day, come back to what you know in your body, come back to what you perceive through your senses. Let's inhale here. Yeah. Let's exhale. Go ahead and lower down. And pause, rest your forehead on a block or your hands. Maybe wag your tail like a happy puppy. Oh, go ahead and roll over onto your back. Draw both knees into your belly. So I want to give you choices. We're twisting, and the knees are coming to the left. So go ahead, let both knees fall to the left. Your right arm comes out to the right. The right arm can be bent or straight, armpit height or higher. So your choices are this: stay here, both knees stacked. Or the bottom leg is the left leg. Lengthen the left leg away from you toward that opposite short edge of your mat, and let the right knee fall closer to the floor. That would create more of a twist feeling in the body. So both knees stacked, that'll stabilize your pelvis a bit more, won't be as much of a twist. Or lengthening the left leg would invite more of a rotation. Oh, I love the realization that more isn't always better. And what was good yesterday or last year might not be the best medicine today. Again, this idea of clear seeing instead of projecting past experience onto the present moment. Keep coming back to what is right here. Hmm. Ah, one more breath here. Exhale, sigh. Maybe your left hand helps the knees or knee roll back, so lay on your back for a moment. Then let both knees fall to the right. Possibly let the right leg lengthen toward the short edge of your mat. Left arm out like a T or a goalpost. Gaze to the left. This idea of atmospheric pounds of pressure that sort of squish your discs. They say when you sit that it amplifies, it's an exponential atmospheric pounds of pressure on your spine. Squatting, doing a squat where you don't have a closed kinetic chain, where your sitting bones aren't touching something. That may be one of the best ways to decompress your spine. The standing desk would be a nice option to intersperse. I wonder if they have a squatting desk. Maybe you could arrange such a thing at a particular shelf height for you. But hopefully all of the movements we do in yoga in general, in Yin Yoga, are designed to create more space in your joints. Inhale here and exhale, roll back onto your back. We're setting up for Shavasana. Maybe you hug your knees in first, give them a good squeeze. Rock a little side to side. And then lengthen your legs long, maybe pad up under your knees. Maybe snuggle under a blanket or put on some sleeves. Ah. And so here, you did a lot of work. I love the work of Yin Yoga. It's a very different quality of work. The work of abiding, the work of being with what may be difficult or uncomfortable. And so here you can drop effort. Drop the effort to achieve as well as the effort to avoid. Hmm. If you asked a question with the oracle, from the oracle of your practice, just be curious about what arises. Use this language of metaphor, dream interpretation, symbolism. Move closer to understanding the meaning of whomever or whatever arises. R.S. Thomas wrote in a piece called The Bright Field. I have seen the sun break through. Let me start over. I have seen the sun break through to illuminate a small field for a while, and gone my way and forgotten it. I have seen the sun break through to illuminate a small field for a while, and gone my way and forgotten it. But that was the pearl of great price, the one field that had the treasure in it. I realize now that I must give all that I have to possess it. Life is not hurrying on to a receding future, nor hankering after an imagined past. It is the turning aside, like Moses to the miracle of the burning bush, to a brightness that seemed as transitory as your youth once, but is the eternity that awaits you. Inhale, allow the breath to move more deeply and fully through the body. Let it be an allowing, a getting out of the way. And exhale, possibly audibly. Feel the next breath rise, like waves in the ocean, the tides of your life. Whew. Go ahead and draw your knees into your belly, curl into a little ball on your right side. Pause there. Oh. Make your way back up to sitting. Return to a comfortable cross-legged position. Maybe that's what we learn. It's all a snapshot. Our lives are snapshots, just like old cartoonists used to redraw each subsequent slide with the tiniest small shift. And when they were sort of rapidly shown together, it appeared as though things were moving. Maybe that's really what the moment is like. Every moment arising and dissolving, almost simultaneously, shifting a little tiny bit like a kaleidoscope. Takes a lot of courage to stay present for the unfolding of your life, your singular, unique, wondrous life, moment by moment. Bring your hands into prayer, lift your heart, bow your head. Let's conclude with the sound of a single Om, audible or silent. Inhale. Om. Go ahead and drift your arms behind you. Let the right hand hold the left wrist, the thumb and forefinger touch. Lift your heart and exhale, lean forward, sealing in your practice. Thank you so much. I appreciate you a lot. Have a beautiful day. Drink lots of water.
Thank you.